Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call this meeting to order. We have agenda before us. I was just wondering if there's any additions to the agenda. Yes, go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Council. Administration has the following. Deletions under 7, Development Application 7.1, Development Application Number 2026-D-033, variance to keep animals from 4 to 6. Additions under 9, New Business. The first one is 9.4.2 bylaw number 1929, tax installment plan. 9.4.3 bylaw number 1931, amendment to local improvement tax bylaw. And the last one under new business is 9.4.4 bylaw number 1932, 2026, tax rate bylaw. The third and final addition is under 12, closed session. 12.1, intergovernment relations, ATIA section 26.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other additions to the agenda? I'm just looking for a motion then, gentlemen. Sorry about that, Caroline. Council? All right, thank you, Councillor Kaluk, for making that motion. That council adopts the agenda with the following amendments, the ones before you that we just heard about. Any discussion on this motion? We're gonna do a little different. It's gonna be by the hand today, so all those in favor?
Councillor Duchesne in favor.
Good morning, Councillor Duchesne and Councillor Crick. If you can hear me.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to all.
Thank you. All right. We need the adoption of the minutes, regular meeting of council, March 24th, 2026. Oh, I'm sorry. Did we vote on that? Yes? I just got a new thing that popped up on my screen that I've never seen before. Try to wipe it off here. Just looking for a motion now. All right, thank you, Councillor Amalia, for making the motion. The council approves adoption of the minutes of March 24th, 2026 regular meeting of council as presented. Any discussion on this motion? Okay, I'm seeing none. All those in favor?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried. Thank you. We have some delegations. I'm just wondering if you gentlemen here are for a delegation? No? Okay, just thought we could move it ahead. So let's go to 7.1. Oh, that one got canceled. 7.2. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Good morning, Council.
Morning.
This is Development Permit Application 2026-D-038 for Bailey Pye and Jody Cornell. The applicant is applying for a major home business use to operate an agro-tourism business featuring events and a small farm shop. The property is located half a mile east of Range Road 413 and Township Road 615 intersection, 2 miles south of the hamlet of Cherry Grove. Adjacent properties are residential parcels, quarter sections, and remnants. The applicant is applying to operate an agro-tourism business on their home quarter. They raise halter-trained mini Highland cows and would like to offer a variety of events with them, such as painting parties, coffee retreats, photo opportunities, one-on-one sessions, and educational experiences with animal grooming. They would like to be able to offer up to 4 events a month during the summer months, and they would like to include a small farm shop, which could include items such as eggs, meats, and other farm-related products, and homemade goods like clay items and keychains. Adjacent landowner letters were sent out on March 26th, and we had a neighbor attend the office in person with a letter of concern. They wanted more details about the business, which was provided to them, and they do not have any objections. Our recommendation for development application 2026-D-038 is approve the request for a major home business for an agritourism business as a discretionary use as per Part 6, Section 6.17, and Part 7, Section 7.3.2 of the Land Use Bylaw with the following conditions. As per Section 6.17, major home business. A major home business may utilize accessory buildings while still maintaining the residential use as the primary use on site. The home business may employ up to 3 persons who do not live on the site or within the primary residence. The home business may not generate traffic uncharacteristic to the area. All required parking must be on site, and outdoor storage of materials, goods, or equipment on the site shall be directly related to the home business and at the discretion of the development authority. May require screening or fencing. The display or placement of signs on the premises of a home business shall be restricted to 1 identification sign no larger than 1 square meter in area and may be indirectly illuminated, and shall obtain applicable food handling permits from Alberta Health Services. Any questions?
No? Thank you.
Make a motion to approve.
All right, thank you, Deputy Reeve Fadea, for making the motion that council approves development permit application number 2026-D-038 for a major home business for agritourism business at Southeast 3461-1 west of 4th Meridian as discretionary use as Part 6, Section 6.17 and Part 7, Section 7.3.2 of the Land Use Bylaw with the following conditions before us. Any discussion on this motion? All right, all those in favor?
In favor?
That's carried, thank you. On to 7.3.
This is development permit application 2026-D-039 for Northgate Equipment and Supply Limited. The applicant is applying for a temporary 1,502 person work camp at the south portion of the remnant of a multi-lot industrial quarter section. The property is in the West 55 Industrial Park on the remnant of the parcel. Adjacent properties are the Lakeland Humane Society, 2 residential parcels across the highway, industrial lots, a quarter section remnant, and the city of Cold Lake. The applicant would like to set up a 1,502 person work camp with kitchen, dining, and administration facilities for 5 years to service the industrial and CFB Cold Lake infrastructure workforce demands. The work camp includes internal roadways, water and waste management systems, bus staging and marshalling areas for worker transportation, domestic waste removal by licensed contractors, connect to local power lines with on-site generation as needed, and connect to local natural gas and supplement with propane if needed. They plan to place modular dormitories as required up to the maximum of 1,502. Adjacent landowner letters were sent out on March 24th. We did receive a letter of objection from a resident across the highway for this development. They feel that the camp would disrupt the quiet and solitude of their outdoor living. We did send a referral to the city of Cold Lake as they are within the referral area for this, and they have no concern. An Alberta Transportation Roadside Development Permit is required and has been applied for. A review of the Highway 55 area structure plan shows no conflict with the proposed work camp. The innovative development area structure plan for the multi-lot subdivision shows the area as future development for industrial lots as dictated by the market conditions. Recommendation for the development permit application 2026-D-039 is approve the request for a temporary 1,502 person work camp as a discretionary use as per Part 6, Section 6.38, and Part 7, Section 7.16 of the Land Use Bylaw with the following conditions. 1, applicable building, electrical, gas, plumbing, and sewer permits are required as per the Alberta Safety Codes Act. Shall comply with Consolidated Public Safety Bylaw 1812. Shall comply with all provincial and federal regulations. The camp is approved until April 14th, 2031, at which time a new permit is required. A reclamation shall be undertaken. Any questions?
Yeah, go ahead, Deputy Reeve.
Good morning. So in regards to access going into the camp, that is done off the highway and through the subdivision?
Yes, through the subdivision, off the
Where it's red
highway to
there?
the back gate. Yeah,
Okay,
the southmost access. Yeah. Oh.
okay, yeah.
They'll be going on to the Primrose South Road.
Yeah.
Right to the base, that's correct?
Yeah, no, thanks for that. I was waiting for something to come up because I know the wing commander and all that stuff, they had some concerns of where they're going to put these people as far as the construction goes. So I guess we know now. So with that, I'll make the motion to approve this.
All right, thank you, Deputy Reeve Fadeev, for making this motion. That council approves development permit application number 2026D-039 for a 1,500 person work camp at the Northwest 1363, 3 west of 4th Meridian as discretionary use as Part 6, Section 6.38 and Part 7, Section 7.16 of the Land Use Bylaw with the following conditions before us. Any discussion on this motion, council? All right, I'm not seeing any. All those in favor?
Counselor DeShane in favor.
All right, that's carried. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
On to 8 SAs, 8.1.
Good morning.
Morning.
Administration is presenting subdivision application 2026-S-006 for council's consideration. This application proposes to subdivide 169.33 acre parcel and 169.37 acre parcel from a previously subdivided agricultural quarter section Northwest 32-62-1 west of the 4th Meridian as shown on the map in Appendix A. Notification of the proposed subdivision was sent to referral agencies and adjacent landowners with a deadline of March 15th to submit concerns to be considered at today's council meeting. No concerns have been received regarding this application. The subject site is located approximately 3 kilometers east of the city of Cold Lake on Township Road 630. The application complies with the Municipal Government Act, Subdivision and Development Regulation, Lower Athabasca Regional Plan, the Municipal Development Plan, and Land Use Bylaw number 1667, which was in place when the application was deemed complete. Therefore, it is recommended that the proposed subdivision be approved with the conditions outlined in Appendix B.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes, Councillor Palmer, go ahead.
Thank you. Through the Reeve to planning, just a quick question in regards, the 2 existing 10 acres on the northeast and northwest of the quarter, are they 10 acres?
Yes, they are both 10 acres.
Are we in habit of advising that no further subdividable ability are provided to the applicants when they apply for the end of the road ability? Available lots, available acres?
Through the Reeve, yes, they are advised that no further subdivision will be recommended.
Perfect, thank you.
Would someone like to make a motion? Yes, thank you, Councillor Kaluk, for making this motion. That council approves subdivision application number 2026-S-006 to subdivide 169.33 acre parcel and 169.37 acre parcel from previous subdivided agricultural quarter section northwest 3262-1 west of the 4th Meridian for SC Design and Consulting at 2009 Inc. on behalf of Howard Holding Limited as per the following conditions before us. Any discussion on this motion? Okay, I'll call for the vote then. All those in favor?
I vote no.
Okay, that's carried. Thank you. On to 8.2.
Administration is presenting subdivision application 2026-S-007 for council's consideration. This application proposes to subdivide two 5-acre parcels from agricultural quarter sections southeast 1463-4 west of the 4th Meridian as shown on the map in Appendix A. Notification of the proposed subdivision was sent to referral agencies and adjacent landowners with a deadline of March 17th to submit concerns to be considered at today's council meeting. No concerns have been received regarding this application. The subject site is located approximately 300 meters west of Highway 892 on Township Road 632. The application complies with the Municipal Government Act Subdivision and Development Regulation, Lower Athabasca Regional Plan, Municipal Development Plan, and the municipality's land use bylaw. Therefore, it is recommended that the proposed subdivision be approved with the conditions outlined in Appendix B.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion, or would someone like to make a motion? Go
I just have a
ahead.
question.
Yes,
Reeve.
go ahead.
Is this the same parcel of land that we're looking at subdividing into a business park?
Through the Reeve, there was a previous area structure plan application that did expire following a 2-year delay.
And then just
So-
to change your plans for on their part then?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, with seeing that, I'd like to make the motion to approve this.
All right, thank you, Deputy Reeve Fadeev, for making this motion. That council approves subdivision application number 2026-S-007 to subdivide two 5-acre parcels from a previous subdivided agricultural quarter section southeast 1463 4th west of the 4th Meridian for Brown's Properties Limited as per the following conditions before us. Any discussion, council, on this? Okay, I'm not seeing none. I'm just gonna, all those in favor?
I'm in favor.
Okay, thank you, that's carried. On to 8.3.
Administration is presenting subdivision application 2026-S-008 for council's consideration. This application proposes a boundary realignment between lots 2 and 3, Block 1, Plan 0826079 within Southwest 2061-5 west of the 4th Meridian as shown on the map in Appendix A. Notification of the proposed subdivision was sent to referral agencies and adjacent landowners with a deadline of March 18th to submit concerns to be considered at today's council meeting, and no concerns have been received regarding this application. The subject site is located approximately 900 meters south of Highway 660 on Range Road 455. The application complies with the Municipal Government Act, Subdivision and Development Regulation, Lower Athabasca Regional Plan, Municipal Development Plan, and the municipality's land use bylaw. Therefore, it is recommended that the proposed subdivision be approved with the conditions outlined in Appendix B.
Thank you. Questions or Someone like to make a motion? Counselor Palmer?
Just a quick question through the Reeve to planning. Is that a residence or on the lot below it, that's the were they ever consolidated together at one point?
Through the Reeve, they were never consolidated. The first condition would be that the south proposed parcel with the accessory building on it would either need to be consolidated with the residential parcel to the south to continue accessing from Township Road 455, or they would be required to construct an approach.
Off of 455 or
Off
within the
of-
internal subdivision?
The internal subdivision road, so they would have independent access.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, or someone like to make a motion? Sure. Thank you, Counselor Palmer, for making the motion that council approve subdivision application number 2026-S-008 for a boundary realignment between lots 2 and 3, Block 1, Plan 0826079 within Southwest 2061-5 west of 4th Meridian for project land surveys limited on behalf of Larry and Brenda Carter and Amanda and Jordan Rude as per the following conditions before us. Any discussion, council, on this motion? I'm not seeing any, so all those in favor?
I'm in favor.
That's carried, thank you. On to 8.4.
Administration is presenting subdivision application 2026-S-009 for council's consideration. This application proposes to subdivide one 4.31 acre more or less parcel from agricultural quarter section southeast to 63-4 west of the 4th Meridian, as shown on the map in Appendix A. Notification of the proposed subdivision was sent to referral agencies and adjacent landowners with a deadline of March 23rd to submit concerns to be considered at today's council meeting, and no concerns have been received. The subject site is located approximately 300 meters west of Highway 892 on Township Road 630. The application complies with the Municipal Government Act Subdivision and Development Regulation, Lower Athabasca Regional Plan, Municipal Development Plan, and the municipality's land use bylaw. Therefore, it is recommended that the proposed subdivision be approved with the conditions as outlined in Appendix B.
Thank you. Any questions, or would someone like to make a motion? Yes, Deputy Reeve Fadeo.
Just a quick question. I've never heard this term before, more or less. So is it more or is it less? Anyways, no, sorry. So why is it worded that way?
Through the Reeve, the applicant was very specific about the size that they wanted when we measured it out. You will notice that the west border is not exactly perpendicular or straight. They were wanting to follow a fence line.
Okay.
They were advised that it would be our preference that they make it square if they would consider. That's why we left a little bit of wiggle room for more or less.
Right, thanks.
Any other more or less questions? Would someone like to make a motion? Thank you, Councillor Kaluk, for making this motion. That council approves subdivision application number 2026-S-009 to subdivide one 4.3.1 acre more or less parcel from agricultural quarter section southeast to 63-4 west of the 4th Meridian for Frank and Jody Ersimiak as the following conditions before us. Any discussion, council, on this motion? I'm seeing none and hearing none, so all those in favor?
I'm in favor.
That's carried. Thank you. On to 8.5.
Administration is presenting subdivision application 2026-S-010 for council's consideration. This application proposes to subdivide one 10-acre parcel from agricultural quarter section southeast 562-6 west of the 4th meridian as shown on the map in Appendix A. Notification of the proposed subdivision was sent to referral agencies and adjacent landowners with a deadline of March 31st to be considered at today's council meeting. No concerns have been received regarding this application. The subdivision, or the subject site is located approximately 340 meters west of Township Road, Range Road 464 on Township Road 620. The application complies with the Municipal Government Act, Subdivision and Development Regulation, Lower Athabasca Regional Plan, the Municipal Development Plan, and the municipality's land use bylaw. Therefore, it is recommended that the proposed subdivision be approved with the conditions as outlined in Appendix B.
Thank you. My computer just went frozen on me, so I'll have to read off the screen here. Any questions or someone like to make a motion? Caroline? I'll wait for it to pop up. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Councillor Palmer, for making the motion that council approves subdivision application number 26-S-010 to subdivide a 10-acre parcel from an agricultural quarter section southeast 562-6 west of the 4th M for Roger and Susan Antoniuk as the following conditions before us. Any discussion, council, on this motion? Okay. All in favor?
I'm in favor.
That's carried. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. We got one more?
9.2.1 is us as well if we're continuing on.
Okay. Let's go to that one.
Administration is seeking approval for roadway license bylaw number 1928 as described in Appendix A. Bylaw number 1928 was given first reading at the February 24th regular meeting of council. No concerns were received following the 1-month public notification period. Administration is recommending that council give second reading to bylaw number 1928 and if carried to proceed to third reading.
Thank you. Council?
Second reading, please.
All right, thank you. Deputy Fidea for making this motion that bylaw number 1928 being a bylaw of the Municipal District of Bonneville number 87 roadways and license be given second reading. Any discussion, council? All right, I'm seeing none. All those in favor?
I'm in favor.
Thank you, that's carried. Looking for third? Okay, thank you, Councillor Amalia, for making that motion that bylaw number 1928 be given third reading. Any discussion, council? I'm seeing none and hearing none, so all those in favor?
In favor.
All right, thank you. That's carried. Thank you, ladies. Let's go to 10.1. No, just joking. 9.3.1. Welcome, good morning.
Good morning, or even council. At the regular meeting of council on March 24th, a delegation was made by the Bonnieville Shooting Sports Association presenting an update on their operation as well as a request for financial support. Council directed administration to bring the request back to future meetings of council for consideration. The association has been in operation since 1983 and has approximately 450 members, active members. The association plans to expand their offering to a clay expansion trail that would offer 20 clay stations, which they feel would bring more people to their venue and the region in general. The association plans on hosting 3 separate events in 2026 and the provincial championships in 2027. And as per the presentation, just knowing about the multiplier effect through the community, in Brooks in 2024, with the 3-day event, it was about $1.2 million, the multiplier effect, and in Tabor in 2025, it generated about $2.2 million for the region. Past givings, 2023, for their hosting provincial championship, they received $900, and in 2019, we supported graveling the roads at approximately $30,000. With regards to the strategic plan, it's goal 1, building a prosperous and sustainable community. With regards to the cost and sourcing of funding, it would be the $30,000, and the funding source would be funded through council grants and individuals, non-government organizations, community action grant, and donations budget. Administration's recommendation is that council approves the request to Bonnyville Shooting Sports Association to support the Clay Expansion Trail as presented in the amount of $30,000 to be funded from the 2026 council grants to individuals and non-government organizations, community action grant and donation budget.
Thank you. Any questions or someone like to make a motion? All right. Thank you, Councillor Palmer, for making the motion that council approves the request by the Bonnyville Shooting Sports Association to support the Clay expansion as presented in the amount of $30,000 to be funded from the 2026 council grants to individuals and non-government organization community action grants and donations budget. Any discussion, council, on this motion? Okay, I'm not seeing or hearing any. All those in favor?
I'm in favor.
Thank you, that's carried.
10.3.
All right. We're going to take a 5-minute break. Well, how y'all doing? So, and we got Ed back on camera. So we have a delegation. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, it's nice to be back, man.
Well, it'd be to your benefit if you were wearing a cowboy hat right now. So, okay,
Okay.
we have a delegation here from Lakeland Extreme Bronx and Bulls. I take it that's you.
Waiting for someone.
Are we waiting for someone yet? Oh, there's still a few more? Chad? How far is Chad away? From? Okay. You know what? You're gonna have to come up and sing a song or something so we can waste a little time. And then as Chad comes in, yeah, come on up, introduce yourself and.
Okay, so, good morning, my name is Sean Metchuis.
Just press your button there. Yeah, there you got it. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so good morning, my name is Sean Metchuis, and I'm with the Lakeland Extreme Bronx and Bulls. And this is our second year of this event. I know Ben came last year, and I think yourself, did you come?
I didn't make it, but I sent someone on my behalf there. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is the second year of our event. I want to say for a first-year event, we are a for-profit entity. I want to make that clear. And it's kind of, I kind of mentioned this to some of the other delegations. It's kind of for the wrong reason, but we just couldn't come to terms with any nonprofit group to join us. And it's kind of a long story, but we don't need to get into that right now. And anyway, so we took the event on, and between Chad Colburn and Katrina Reed and myself, we made a plan with the help of course, the city of Cold Lake. And we hosted the 2-day event in May 9th and 10th of last year. And I want to say that for a first-year event, something new to the city, to the area, I really felt that we were highly successful. And it's something that, as far as the experience went, as far as the fan experience went, and anybody that puts on these events, you'll understand and know that they're always a building in process. So there's no such thing as overnight success in any of these events. They always take some time to build. I guess the question that always comes, well, how long is it going to take? Well, that depends on a number of things. Everything that happens is kind of beyond our control. But with that being said, the event itself, our Friday night event, which was a Bull Riders Canada, the PBR we couldn't get because they're at an event in Brooks, Alberta that's long-standing. And we couldn't get them, so we get an organization called Bull Riders Canada. And in 2025, there was 54 different Bull Riding Canada events, 43 of them in 43 different towns. Some of them were two-night events. Our event was voted number 3, the third best event on the entire circuit, which I thought was pretty good for a first-year event, okay? And so lots of bells and whistles. We had a really good crowd. And yeah, I think everybody really enjoyed themselves at that, and you were there as well. On the Saturday, we hosted, it's called an Extreme Broncs. It's saddle bronc riding only. If you're not familiar with the rodeo industry or the sport of rodeo, it's the second most watched event in rodeo, other than bull riding, of course. And so the contestants that enter there's 3 different, if I can put this in simple layman's terms, there's 3 different standings that their monies count towards. If they're Canadians, and are members of the Canadian Pro Rodeo Association, their monies count towards the Canadian Finals and the Canadian Championships, which are held in Edmonton. If they're Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association members, the same money counts towards the World Standings and the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas, Nevada. And they've created a third set of standings called the Extreme Broncs Tour, which in 2025, there was 23 events in North America. 6 of them were in Canada, with us being one of them. And that counts towards a $125,000 one-day final in Rapid City, South Dakota, that's held in August of each year. So it's a pretty big event. And in 2025, our event hosted 9 of the top 30 guys in the race for the championship in the world up to the point of our event. And what I would say is most of those were from Alberta. They were from Canada. So it was, it looked pretty good on us. We also hired the C5 Rodeo Company out of Lac La Biche, Vern McDonald, who's a 2-time Stock Contractor of the Year, him and Big Stone Rodeo Company out of Cessford, Alberta, and Legends Rodeo Stock out of Tabor. So we had a really good event. Like, it was as good as it could be. It was on Cowboy Channel, and it was just second to none. And there's just a number of things that kind of make your event bigger and better. Prize money is one, good stock is the other, how well it's run is the other. And I never want to be that guy that's going to say, oh yeah, we're a world-class event. We're not a world-class event, but you know what? We're working on it, and we've got everything going in our favor. We've got a lot of good things happening with us. And so we are, everything's been in motion. It was a work in process since the last horse bucked last year that we were going to start making plans for 2026, and everything has come along pretty good. It's a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. And we're looking forward to being bigger and better. I'm quite surprised right now by the online sales. They're ahead of where I thought they would be. Last year, we had a strong Friday crowd. Our Saturday crowd, we were up against 3 different functions in town, and the Oilers were playing as well, so they kind of worked against us. Those other 3 concerts aren't going down on the Saturday playoffs. We don't know, of course, but we're expecting much bigger and better things in 2026, and we'll know, actually a week from today, we're going to know what our contestant list looks like. So we are looking at asking once again for sponsorship from the MD of Bonnyville for our event. And I don't know, did I miss anything?
I'll step in a second.
I just kind of want to add a couple things to that. So the setup is so important. They go from an ice rink to horses and bulls. So the setup on the sand and everything else is so important. And I know, talking to the city of Cold Lake, they spend a lot of time and hours trying to develop the proper, I guess, compaction and things like that. So that was big. And again, you know, we don't generally, as a council, do for profits, but we all said that, you know, in a case like this where it's such a big impact to our community, we always try to commit for 2 years to give them a good leg up and to get that going. So, and again, yeah, the event was pretty good. It was awesome. It wasn't say pretty good. It was outstanding. So yeah, thanks, Sean, for doing that. And yeah, that was great. It was great to see.
So I'll just step in a little bit here, and I just want to say sorry for my tardiness. I apologize. As you can see, I know my way around a council chamber. But Barry, I really like the mustache.
Thanks.
It's coming in really nice.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, always start off with a compliment, right? And of course, always like to start things off just by saying thank God for being here. But in regards to what Councillor Fedea was just mentioning, so when we talk about a for-profit versus a non-profit, we are a for-profit, and the reason why we got to do that is because we don't have a charity behind us that it's under the umbrella of. But what we do is we utilize every group that we can possibly out of the City of Cold Lake area and the Bonnyville area. But for instance, last year we used the Cold Lake Fighter Jets as an example for a lot of our security purposes. We used the Cold Lake Ice as our 50-50 sellers and volunteers. We also used Second Chance Trail Ride as another group that came in. And there was 2 others that I'm missing off the top of my head. But overall, we walked away with about $8,000 in profit last year after everything was kind of said and done. We took that $8,000 and applied that right back to those charity groups that helped us out. So there was $2,500 given to the Cold Lake Fighter Jets, okay? The $5,000 was given back to the Cold Lake Ice for the 50-50, and then there was another, whatever the difference was left, was given to the Second Chance Trail Ride. So I just don't want it to get lost in translation about for-profit, non-profit. Although we're sitting here, yeah, we would love to make some money out of it. But the goal here is to provide an event for the city, provide an event for the Lakeland that's sustainable. And just because just to give you a little bit of history on this, just because I know there are some new councillors sitting here that weren't here last year. This event was taken to the Cold Lake Egg Society at the beginning to have it under their umbrella, but unfortunately, just with some politics and such, it just didn't look like that was going to work between for them. I don't even want to throw anybody else under the bus on that one. It just didn't work for them. So with that said, we just took it on as upon ourselves to do the event. And like Sean mentioned, this is the first time last year that an indoor rodeo or an indoor rodeo style event has ever been hosted in the Energy Center. So it was a pretty cool thing for I think us to be able to have that in the history books. I'm not in the history books for much, Sean, but we can be in for that one. Now, I don't know, did you ask about what our ask is?
Yes. Well, I just said we were looking for sponsors.
Yeah, okay, so my apologies again. I'd like to kind of get that one out of the way right at the very beginning, just so you guys know what we're asking for. So last year, you guys provided us with a $10,000 sponsorship. That sponsorship has been moved up to what we call a champion rider. We're looking for $15,000 this year, but for our champion riders that came in last year, we have given them the same opportunity that we gave the folks last year. So what we're doing is, because we've added an extra date to our show this year, which hasn't been announced, which now it will be. August 29th, we'll be doing a Bulls and Bronx event right here in the town of Bonnyville. It's a one-day event over at the Bonnyville Ag Society. So what we're asking for from our champion riders is, if they do put up the 15, we apply 5 over to the Bonnyville event and 10 back to the Cold Lake event, okay? Because it's a one-day event, we're still working out some details on what some of our VIP services will look like over there, because Energy Center, of course, beautiful facility, indoor facility, it's got boxes, you name it, you can make that happen. Bonnyville Rodeo Grounds, amazing rodeo grounds, but there's still some logistics to work out over there to get that sorted out. But with that said, we are bringing the event as well into Bonnyville for a one-day. We're just going to try and see how that looks. We've done our due diligence to make sure it doesn't interfere with existing events happening here in the community, as in the Bonnyville WPCA Chuck Wagon event and rodeo, which goes early June, and then Fall Fair happens after our event this year, so we're not taking anything away from them that way. I just want to thank the Bonnyville Ag Society for giving us the opportunity, and they really wanted to work with us on this to get some more opportunity over at the rodeo grounds, other than the 1 or 2 events that happen, because it's such a beautiful facility and they've done a lot of great work over there. And they've been really good to us to help us get our feet planted. So that event will be a scale of our bulls. So our same association that we're using for our Friday night event in Cold Lake will be the same association that comes into Bonnyville on that Saturday. Now, we're also in the works of trying to bring in an extra piece of entertainment for that Saturday. I'd like to say what it is right now, but I don't want to put any pressure on them, nor do I want to put something out there that maybe we can't bring forward. But we are looking at a little more entertainment earlier in the afternoon that day to coincide with our bull event. And then the evening will wrap up no different than it does in Cold Lake for us, with a dance. Now, mind you, it'll be a dirt dance in the Energy Center. Did you talk about that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so we are doing a dirt dance both evenings in Cold Lake. Which we're going to have the Main Street Band, which is a big local Cold Lake band, coming in. And we're also going to utilize some other local folks to come in and help us put on some entertainment. We've got young girl, Callie Rivard. I think her first name's Callie. I hope I get that right. She's going to be doing some singing as well, and it's going to be a dirt dance. So if you guys want to bring your cowboy boots, just know they're going to get a little dirty after the rodeo. Okay, and then in Bonnyville, we're doing the dance as well. We're trying to make it an evening out for not just the family, but for the parents too, to go out and kick up their heels and have a good time as well. Again, all of for you guys that are sitting in your council seats, I just want you to know we want to be as transparent as possible. If you guys want to look at our numbers, we're more than willing to give you those. We can send those after we're done today, if that's a request by you guys. Again, we got nothing to hide. We just want to build a great event for the community. I know last year, Councillor Fadeev had mentioned if there was a way that we could do this where we don't have to take up your guys' time and do this over a 2-year span, that would be even better. But again, I get it. If you want to see the numbers, you want to dive into it every year, I'm also great with that. I love sharing and talking. Did I hit it?
Oh, yeah.
Did you give them the numbers from last year? As far as, we had just about 2,000 tickets sold on the Friday night last year, which was really, really good for us. The Saturday night didn't come to be as fruitful as we thought it would be, but we ended up with about 1,400 tickets sold. So for a first-time event, to even just break even was great, but even just to make a little bit of money, we were ecstatic. The buzz within the community was, overall, it was a very well-run event. Sean knows, and that's where his expertise comes in. It's about entertainment value, and when you sit down and you watch any kind of rodeo, it's where those gaps lie in between events. When you're loading the chutes, what do you fill that with? How do you keep people entertained? Well, We did have a beautiful score clock that we were going to use to put a lot of video stuff on, but unfortunately, God had different plans for us that weekend, and he shot down an electrical surge, which ended up killing our board for us for the weekend, a half an hour before our Friday show. So we pivoted very quickly, and if you were to ask us now, we would have never thought that we even needed the thing. But with that said, there was a lot of extra value that was added in there. But I just wanted to take it to this, that the show itself it's all about keeping flow and keeping people entertained. And we're trying to bring that entertainment value higher and higher and keep that standard moving. This year we've purchased what I like to call an air gun, but it's a t-shirt gun. So I don't have to like chuck them into the crowd. I just get so be ready. Anyway, with that said, I'm just having a little fun here, but if there's any questions, feel free to ask. And again, my apologies for getting here 2 minutes after.
Yeah, was that like 5 minutes, wasn't it? Yeah. See, when the balding starts happening on top, you have to kind of grow a mustache so they don't look, okay?
Thank you,
Let's just
Reeve
get that out
Kalinsky.
of the way right away. Any questions? And we do have two counselors up on the screen. So if they have any questions, they'll get a hold of Steph.
I just want to add something. One of the irony of losing the screen is I own a business that supplies video screens, and I live 2 miles from the energy center. And my big comment of the weekend was, well, too bad we don't know anybody locally that has screens that they could. But yeah, and I actually have traveled extensively throughout North America, supplying video screens to rodeos, bull ridings, Indian relays, chuck wagon races, mostly Western themed events. And I've kind of limited my travels to the northern U.S. In recent years. I'm just not going as far. I've got a lot of work locally. And so I get to see, I have this advantage. I get to see events. I get there before they start, and I watch them as they build. And then after the event, I see the aftermath. So that kind of gives me that upper edge, carrying on from the days of when I competed in rodeos, and Dad was a longtime chuck wagon driver. And so I've kind of been around rodeo all of my life, and so kind of been somewhat of a passion of mine, but it's something that I always wanted to see go over big in our area. And you probably don't know that I was involved with the Cold Lake Ag Society for a number of years, bringing rodeo and chuck wagons there as part of the Bonneville Ag Society for a couple of years, and helped them out. And so doing something, trying to bring something big to our area. Something I noticed is we've got ticket sales coming from, Good Soil, Pierceland, St. Paul, Lac La Biche. Last year, I know we had people from Lloydminster, Vermilion, Wainwright, so we actually drew people from a ways away. And I always think if they're coming to town, they're probably going to eat, buy gas, maybe do some shopping, who knows, right?
And I'll leave you with this. So the Extreme Bulls and Broncs is not just something we came up with. It's a brand that they run throughout. How many shows do they have?
23 in North America.
Okay, so they have 23 shows in North America. Last year we ended up placing third overall amongst their shows for
The Bull Riders Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Extreme.
So we were up for an award for first year. That's how successful we were. So I just thought I'd sprinkle that one in there with the cherry on top before Sean tells us more.
Did you guys have a sign up on the way to Cold Lake? I went a couple days ago. Was there a sign up on the highway, Extreme Bulls and stuff? No?
You do something I don't know? No, the only thing we've done, Mr. Klinsky, is we've added it to some of our back windows of our vehicles, so maybe,
All right.
but no, unfortunately, good idea.
I just seen a sign. I thought it said Extreme and said something with bull riding.
Maybe I can go on 55. I can put one up on the hay bales by that farm just by Iron River,
Sounds
Klinsky
like
Farm,
a
I think it's
good plan
called.
to me.
The Ag Society had their spring Bullarama on Saturday.
Oh, okay, is that what happened? That was probably from
Like
that.
X-Site.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't seeing things. Any other questions or any other comments from you guys? No? Well, thank you for coming in today and doing this delegation. I appreciate it. Well done.
Once again, thank you to council and obviously, thank you to administration.
Oh, we have a question
Oh, perfect.
right here.
Sorry, through the reef, have you got a commitment from the Bonneville Ag Society that you will be having August 29th?
Yes.
Is there a commitment?
Yes, there is a
contract in
commitment.
place? Okay, good, thank you.
Maybe you know something I don't know.
I'm part of the ag, and I went to the first meeting last night.
Oh.
And the conversation came up, but I didn't really get the gist as to whether it was a solidified deal, it was going through. So, and that's because it was my first meeting, not because there isn't a deal, I'm just saying.
So the original conversation with Corey was, we asked about rent, we asked if it was available for that date. And August this year, there's 5 weekends, just the way the calendar falls, it's on a 7-year cycle. So I knew that would be open on the rodeo schedule. And his comment was, it was open, the only open weekend they had
And there
in
was-
August or in that part of the year. And then he said, would you like to partner? And I said, yes. I said, I really like that idea. And then he went back to his board and it didn't seem that way. So when he got back to me, he said, I'll guarantee you, we'll rent the grounds to you, and we're working out the details. They're gonna get some benefits out of it.
And
but we're still-
discussions on the chutes had to be moved
Yeah,
to the stands.
we're either gonna rent chutes and move them in front of the grandstands,
Right.
but I said, we may as well, you've got chutes there, why don't we just move them forward and reconfigure, and then we'll pay you guys that rental fee.
Right.
And so we're actually working that detail, we're hoping the snow goes away so we can go and measure, and, but one way or another, we're gonna change the look of that rodeo grounds and make this, that fan experience where you're gonna be on top of the action, and, yeah,
Perfect.
so.
They call me Positive Pete. I just always look at everything happening, so.
No, fair enough. And that was the discussion, was
Yep.
the chutes.
Yep.
They're concerned for how deep they are.
Yep.
Because they're 2 feet dug in, that kind of thing, and they were trying to figure out a way as to how complicated it would be to move them after the fact, sort of thing.
I don't think they're.
They can't even get into the field right now, just so you know, they're pumping water continually, so we're gonna see what happens tomorrow. They're not even dry enough to get out there without hip waders and to see even for their own rodeo in June. Yeah, it's pretty tight, but they're pretty confident, like, there was no negativity at all in
Yep.
the discussion.
And what we can do, Councillor Palmer, is just because I was unaware that I thought we were there, but what we'll do is we'll just give you guys a confirmation once that's signed on the dotted line, just so that we can kind of put that one to the good.
Perfect, yeah.
See, Jenna's gonna give me trouble with the assumptions, see?
No one's in trouble. I just thought it was the day before this May event, so I wasn't really paying attention myself. So it's a 1 day off and
This is a one-dayer that'll be happening in late August.
Okay.
In Bonneville at the rodeo grounds.
he hold up two fingers.
So we're doing May 8th and 9th in Coal Lake at the Energy Center, and we're also adding an August 29th day in Bonneville.
Okay, so I thought it was like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday kind of thing, so that's where I missed out. Yeah.
My apologies.
No.
If I would have been 4 minutes earlier, we would have been good.
No problem. I've been late to a rodeo before. No pun intended. Any questions from the screen there, gentlemen? Right on. All right. Thank you once again.
And maybe you can bring your wife down, Barry, because we're gonna be doing wife-husband races
Yes?
where they carry their wife at both events. We're actually gonna be doing that for the first time, so
All right. Well, maybe sign me up for that.
I've already done it. Okay, thank you very much.
You'll have to talk my wife into that though, so yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You as well.
All right, just looking for a motion, council? Oh,
I'm a handshaker, you know this. Thank you.
thanks, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Counselor Crick, would you like to make a motion? All right. Thank you, Counselor Crick, for making a motion that council accepts a presentation by Lakeland Extreme Broncs and Bulls regarding the Lakeland Extreme event in Coal Lake as information, and furthermore directs administration to bring their request for funding support for the 2026 Lakeland Extreme Bronx and Bulls event back to a future meeting of council for consideration. Any discussion, council? I'm seeing none. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. We have a delegation at 10:30, I believe. Okay. 5 minutes and then into it? Sure. 5 minutes. Thanks. We're on? Okay, welcome back. We have another delegation. I think it's Jeff, no? Yeah. Welcome back, Jeff. Thank you. Whenever you guys are ready.
Good morning, Reeve and Council.
Morning.
Jeff Alliston with Metrics Group LLP is in attendance to present Council with the audited consolidated financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2025. Administration will also be seeking Council approval in accordance with the Alberta Municipal Government Act. At the close of each fiscal year, the financial records of a municipality must be audited by an independent auditor. Metrics Group LLP is the appointed auditor that prepared the statements on behalf of the MD of Bonnyville. As per the Municipal Government Act, the council-appointed auditor must present the audited financial statements, including the auditor's report to council. The annual results of the Bonnyville Regional Fire Authority are 71% consolidated within this financial statement. The portion of the operating surplus reported in this financial statement related to the BRFA is $14,766. Submission of the audited financial statement and the financial information returned to the province must occur on or before May 1st of the subsequent fiscal year. The total operating surplus for 2025 is $23,981,983. This amount is comprised of BRFA's operating surplus, and the remaining $23,967,217 is the resulting surplus of operating revenues over operating expenditures. The free cash estimated to be available to transfer to reserves as of December 31st, 2025 is $16,999,840. Attached for Council's review is Appendix A, the 2025 Metrics Group LLP presentation to Council, Appendix B, MD of Bonnyville 2025 draft consolidated financial statements, and Appendix C, 2025 Metrics Group's LLP audit findings report. At this time, I will turn the floor over to Jeff.
Awesome. Okay, well, thanks for having me here today. I will go over my audit findings presentation and then go into the audit findings report. And I guess if anybody has questions along the way there, you can definitely feel free to ask. So kind of to begin the presentation, I'd like to go do a brief overview of an audit. Sorry, just on the next slide there. Just a brief overview of an audit. So really why we have an audit and the importance of it. And really it's to enhance the degree of confidence of the intended users of those financial statements. So those main users being yourselves as councillors, municipal affairs, ratepayers, the province of Alberta, so those organizations or individuals with a vested interest in the financial performance of the MD. As auditors, we're assessing if the financial statements present fairly in all material respects in accordance with Canadian public sector accounting standards. So as independent auditors, separate from management, we design procedures to provide reasonable assurance, which is a high level of assurance, but it's not an absolute guarantee. From the outcome of those procedures, we then give our opinion on the financial statements, which in this case is we're given a clean opinion that the financial statements do present fairly in all material respects. On the next slide, just an update here on the responsibilities. So when it comes to management's responsibility, management designs the processes that ensure transactions are recorded accurately and that the year-end numbers reflect the MD's true position. Those charged with governance, just to note that you do have the ultimate responsibility for the financial statements that lies with council. And as auditors, our objective here is to obtain reasonable assurance, again, that the financial statements present fairly in all material respects. We exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout. And then at the end, we issue our opinion. On the next slide is a summary of our results. So when it comes to findings from the audit, in order to complete our audit as of today's date, we'll complete our standard completion procedures, so such as obtaining management representation letters, subsequent event procedures up to today's date. When it comes to your accounting policies and estimate, there was a change in your accounting policies and estimates this year when it came to the amortization of useful lives in relation to machinery and equipment. So that change was adopted prospectively and reflected in this year's financial statements. When it comes to procedure results, we have no significant findings to note to council while performing our work. And again, we're issuing an unmodified opinion, which in turn is that the financial statements present fairly in accordance with Canadian public sector accounting standards. The next slide is a summary of our significant audit risks. So these are areas of concern or focus for us while performing our work. As you can tell on the right-hand side, our findings, we did not identify any significant findings in these areas. The next slide is an indication of our financial results. So the next slide will give you a snapshot of your statement of financial position. So this is where the MD was at as at December 31, 2025. At the top, you'll see your cash and temporary investments were up about 44 million, which you had generated from operating cash surplus. You had spent about 900,000 on debt repayment, 22.6 million on tangible capital asset additions, and then moved about 22 million out of investments up into your cash. So that's kind of the net change of your cash. On the next slide, your taxes and grants in place of tax receivables. So here shows where your taxes that have been yet to be collected. So your current taxes of 880,000, taxes in arrears of 1.3. And then an allowance here for 383,000. So a net change in the year about 150. The next slide here shows other receivables, such as trade and other, which is up to 5.3 million, mainly in relation to about 3.5 million owed from oil and gas companies for work performed on roads there. Receivables from GST in relation to your November-December claim, again for a total of 5.6 million to be collected subsequent to year end. Going back to the statement of financial position, you'll see your debt recoverable and loan receivable. So the loan receivable is in relation to the Bonneville Regional Fire Authority, so the portion that's not owned by the MD there of 1.9 million. Some land held for resale of 300,000, and then your portfolio investments, which on the next slide are made up of two areas. So you have investments measured at fair value at 101 million, and investments measured at amortized cost. So your fair value investments are invested in what's called a principal protected note. So the cost is secured, and then those are tied into whether the performance of the product is over and above the cost. You'll receive a gain, which is represented in your remeasurement gain-loss account in your accumulated surplus. And then if there's any loss, it's represented in there as well, but would not be reflected if the investment is held to maturity. When it comes to your investments and amortized costs, those are in relation to bonds. So those are fixed income securities, about 2.2% to about 5.73%, maturing between 2026 and 2033. The next slide here, after looking at your portfolio investments, you'll see your total financial asset position up to about 176 million, or a $28 million increase year over year there. When it comes to liabilities, your accounts payable and accrued liabilities of 6.2 million, deferred revenue of 4.2. There's a slide for that on the next one. This is a breakdown of grants that you would have received that are on hand, and then what would have been spent in the year. So you started the year at 5 million, you received another 5.1 million, mainly in relation to your Canada Community Building Fund, as well as your Local Government Fiscal Framework, or LGFF. Those grants were used in relation to culvert and bridge work to the tune of about $4 million, and left with 4.2 million for the upcoming fiscal year there. The next slide is just kind of back to the statement of financial position. We can look at your employee benefit obligations, which include your vacation and overtime accrual, and then as well as your asset retirement obligations of 8.8 million, which is representative of tangible capital assets that the MD has that have a future cost associated with retiring those assets based on current environmental standards. The next item is your long-term debt of 7.7 million. So in the year, you had repaid 910,000 of that. Interest on that was about 263,000, and you have no new debt issued in the year. When it comes to the municipal district's debt limits on the next slide, you'll see your debt limits up to 182 million. This is 1.5 million of your total operating revenue. So basically, Municipal Government Act, that's what you'd be allowed to take out in debt. Your total debt currently is 7.7 million, leaving you with 174 million unused limit. Your debt servicing limit is 0.25 times operating revenue, or about 30 million, which is how much principal and interest can be repaid each year based on the MGA. So again, well within your debt limits. Back to the statement of financial position. If you were to take your assets less your liabilities, you end up with a net financial asset position of 146 million. So what that means, if you were to take your assets, pay off your liabilities, you would have free cash of about 146 million left after meeting all your current obligations on there. When it comes to non-financial assets, those are your tangible capital assets of 268 million. On the next slide here, you'll see the additions in the year of 26 million from for the MD. So major projects such as Township Road 622 reconstruction, various bridge work projects, as well as a transfer of the Greater Shop and Fire Hall work into buildings there. When it comes to your amortization, that's at just under 25 million. That represents the usage of your assets in the year. So assets are expected to last either 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, depending on expected life. So a percentage of those assets get amortized into your operations to represent the use of them in the years. So with 26 million of new additions and 25 million of amortization, your net book value is pretty much flat year over year. Where you might see issues when you're looking at something like this is if you see a really high amount of amortization and not a lot of additions. It kind of could be indicative of your assets aging out and not replacing them. But in your case, you are replacing assets with additions in relation to the amortization there. Back to the statement of financial position, you'll see your inventory for consumption at 38 million, 36.7 of that in relation to gravel inventory on hand, prepaid expenses of 1.3 for a total non-financial asset position of about 308 million. So your net financial assets plus non-financial assets equal your accumulated surplus of 454 million, which on the next slide is a breakdown of what makes that up. So included in unrestricted is about 89 million, which is about $10.5 million increase there. Restricted surplus was up to 111, about 13.5 million. And then your equity and tangible capital assets, a small change there of 32,000. So what that's telling you is based on your annual surplus that you'll see in the year for about 24 million, the majority of that is in relation to a cash surplus, which is increase your unrestricted and restricted, versus your equity and tangible capital assets, which is pretty much flat year over year, or your non-cash component of your accumulated surplus. Looking at this next slide is a breakdown of your surplus here. So 202 million there. You'll see your unrestricted, restricted, and accumulated remeasurement gains. I forgot to mention that. So when we talked about those principal protected notes or at fair value, currently those products have a positive gain on them, about 1.7 million. So that does not get represented in your operations. It sits in your accumulated surplus upon the time of those products maturing, and then that gain being recognized. And again, if it was a loss, it would be zero that you would see on the statement of operations. So of your surplus there, net financial assets make up 146 million. So that's, again, if your assets paid off your liabilities, inventory for consumption, which is mainly your gravel, prepaid of expenses, cash obtained from long-term debt, and then asset retirement obligations to be that are been accrued but not paid of 8 million. So that's kind of how you would break that down to determine how much of it is in relation to cash or inventory. On the next slide here, when it comes to your operating revenues, you'll see you're up to 121 million versus 104, or $17 million increase. When it comes to your net municipal taxes, $9.7 million increase, or 11.2% in your assessment year over year is causing that there. Other items to note is in other revenue, as you received $7 million from oil and gas company in the area in relation to road work there for revenue. So that's kind of where you're seeing your revenue change year over year. The next slide kind of shows you where your budget lined up on the line graph in relation to the bars. Really, your other was over in relation to the additional oil and gas money, and as well as your investment income, which you conservatively budgeted less, but were able to earn more on your investments in the year. When it comes to expenses by department on the next slide here, you'll see your council administration and general government was up, and that's more in relation to the amount of money from tax dollars that are collected by the MD and then paid out to other municipalities in relation to your OC 121-2021 program here. That gets paid to the City of Cold Lake and to the Village of Glendon. Protective services costs were up in relation to the Bonnyville Regional Fire consolidation there. Other areas of note, road work, streets, walks, and lighting. You had an additional amortization expense. So we talked about previously that was changed. There's an additional $4 million of amortization expense that was added. So that's why you're seeing the road streets, or streets, walks, and lighting at $36 million versus $33 in the prior year in relation to amortization expense there. So that gave you a total expenses of $104 million, or about $7.6 million increase year over year from 97. When you look at the budget, you'll see your $20.5 million over that. Your amortization expense, which you'll see in a couple slides, is 24.4. So that's really why you're seeing an overage there, is in relation to the amortization expense. The next slide shows you where your actuals were at in relation to budget. So we had taken out amortization. So you see most costs are at or below there, except for roads, streets, walks, and lighting, as you did have additional road material costs over than what you had initially budgeted for in that category where it came to the road, streets, walks, and lighting. The next slide here, expenses by object, where the $104 million was spent. So salaries, wages, and benefits were up to $26 million, still below what you had budgeted for there, but up from prior year. Amortization is up to $24.8 million. This is in relation to an additional $4 million one-time expense that came through this year to adjust for the estimate in relation to the amount there. Transfers to other governments were up to $32.5 million in relation to the additional tax revenue collected by the MD and paid to other municipalities. And then materials, goods, and supplies at $11 million. So although it is up from budget in relation to the road maintenance costs, it is down from prior years when you had spent more in that category there. In turn, on the next slide, if you were to take your total revenues less your expenses, you end up with an annual surplus before other income of $16.7 million. You then see your government transfer capital of 5.5. This is your Canada Community Building Fund, your LGFF funding there for capital projects, gain on disposal of tangible capital assets. You have some contributed assets in the year of $700,000 for a total surplus then of just under $24 million. When it comes to the restatement in the year, there was a restatement for asset retirement obligations for about $4 million. So it was determined that there was additional items there that had an environmental retirement that was needed. So those were added to the ARO and then adjusted for the prior year for the tune of $4 million there, leaving you with a new revised accumulated surplus opening of $428 million from $432 and an ending amount of $452 million. So the next slide here, in taking the $24 million of annual surplus in accordance to the Canadian Public Sector Accounting Standards, that's obviously not what you had budgeted for. Your budget was for zero. So you can see here the changes in items that impact what your initial budget would have been. So when it comes to amortization expense, the budget was $54,000. Net transfers from to reserves was $7 million. Actual was 13. Tangible capital assets, actual of 26 versus 23, and then the principal debt repayments, which includes principal and interest. So you end up with an actual operating surplus in comparison to your budget of just under $10.5 million there. So in summary, we're issuing an unmodified opinion or indicating that the financial statement is presented fairly in all material respects. We have no significant findings to note to council. Your net financial asset position up to 146 million, annual surplus just under 24 million. And I guess if anybody has any questions on this part before the audit findings report, I can definitely address those.
Looks good, thank you. No? No, okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll go into our audit findings report here. So if you just kind of scroll down here to page 3, the executive summary. So really the purpose of this report is to promote two-way communication between ourselves as auditors and yourselves as councillors. So effectively, as of today's date, to complete or to issue signed audit financial statements, we'll complete our subsequent event procedures, obtain a signed management representation letter, complete our communication, which is what we're doing right now, and obtain evidence of council's approval. Once we have those items, we'll be able to issue signed audit financial statements. There were no significant changes from our audit plan except for the update of materiality, which in turn is based on current year actual numbers versus budget or prior year. So we use 4% of operating expenses, or in this case, roughly 3.8 million. So what we're saying here is that if your revenues or expenses, say, were to increase or decrease by that amount, we feel that a user of the financial statement may have a different view or outlook on the financial performance of the municipal district. So again, users being yourselves as councillors, municipal affairs. When it comes to significant difficulties, we did not encounter any significant difficulties that should be brought to the attention of council. When it comes to the engagement team, myself and Craig Pater are responsible for the services that our firm performed in relation to the audit of the MD's finances here. On the next slide, then the one after that, we get into our audit results. So I spoke briefly in the beginning of the other presentation, but these are kind of areas of key focus for us while performing our work. So management override of control is definitely a key risk. Potentially management could be adjusting the financial statements in relation to fraud or error. So we use data analytic tools that identify journal entries that may be indicative of that. We then test those to ensure that they are valid business entries. So entries, say, such as outside of business hours, certain number, frequencies, certain accounts. So we're looking for anything that's odd or unique, not necessarily stuff that's large in dollar amounts. So we then test those, and we have no significant findings in that area. When it comes to revenue recognition, risk here is that revenue is being recognized prematurely. So potentially when you collect the money versus when work was performed or obligations were met. So we want to go over your grant agreements. We want to look at your funding for anything new, capital projects there. So we had no significant findings when it came to your revenue recognition. The next slide here, looking at receivable balances, we want to make sure that receivables at year end are deemed to be collectible. So did you collect these funds subsequent to year end? Are they valid receivables? Also, again, looking at how you're funding for certain capital projects, as well as tying in with your deferred revenues. So we had no findings there. Tangible capital assets, we're looking for items that meet that definition. So are they capitalized? Is your amortization correct? How were these projects also funded, which then ties back to our revenue recognition. So we had no significant findings in that area as well. And then the last one here is your asset retirement obligation. So we did have the restatement in the year to add the new item there. But in turn, we had no issues when it came to the asset retirement obligation model when the work there. When it comes to the next part of our report here, we talk about audit adjustments. So there were 26 audit adjustments. This is the net impact of those was a change to annual surplus of about 198,000. A lot of it coming from the asset or the ARO change. And then when it comes to unrecorded misstatements, so these are items that are not reflected within your financial statements, but we had noted while performing our work. The net impact of those is 41,000. On the next slide is a summary of those entries. The main one being to adjust the allowance for uncollectible taxes, and then the adjustment for gravel in relation to what is audited by a third party versus the tracking of the haul tickets there. And then also to remove grant revenue that was recognized in this year that should have been the prior year. So it's a net impact of 41,000, but we talk about materiality being 3 million. We don't feel that these adjustments, whether in the current year or prior year, are having an impact on anyone or the user of the financial statements when it comes to the municipal district. The next slide here talks about your control environments. So we did not identify any control deficiencies. When it comes to the change in accounting policy, so here we talk about that in relation to the method of amortization from declining balance to straight line method, decreasing the expected useful life of machinery and equipment and vehicle assets. So management believed the straight line method provides a more appropriate reflection, so that change of accounting policy was again presented within the statements, and then as well as a change in the estimate as well. When it comes to your change or your estimates on the next page here, we feel that those are in line. So your asset retirement obligations, allowance for doubtful accounts, useful life of tangible capital assets. So those seem to be reasonable in relation to the expectations there or management's best estimates. On the next one here, we go into our appendices. So the next slide shows Appendix 1, just to require communication that we do not hold a financial interest, have a position or a personal business relationship or economic dependence on the ND, so we feel that we are independent of your organization. Appendix 2 is our management representation letter that we'll get a signed copy of before we're able to issue signed audited financial statements, but in turn that just discusses that information was forthcoming to us and accurate. And then you could go to Appendix 3, which outlines new and revised accounting standards. So the new and revised accounting standards that are coming effectively for December 31, 2027, you're going to see a change in your statement of financial position there, where you're going to see your non-financial assets kind of move from the bottom of that schedule up near the top underneath your financial asset position for a total asset number. Financial liabilities, non-financial liabilities, and then net assets. Those will in turn agree to your total asset position, so you'll have more of a traditional balance sheet approach. You'll also see a schedule for financial assets less financial liabilities, kind of showing you what your current working capital is there. And then as well as a schedule for net assets showing your remeasurement gain losses, unrestricted surplus, and restricted surplus. And a change to the budget presentation that will happen in the statement or updates there. So that's kind of it for the audit findings report. I guess if anybody has any questions on that, I can definitely address those as well. If they didn't give you Appendix 3 by accident.
I don't see or hear any questions, so thank you. Going once, going twice. All right, thank you.
Good. Okay, thank you. Thanks again for having me. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I just need a motion or a couple of motions here. Thank you, Councillor Klug, for making a motion that council approves the 2025 audited consolidated financial statement for the municipal district of Bonneville as presented. Any discussion on this motion? Deputy Fadeev?
Yeah, thanks. I just want to, before we go on to this, just want to touch base. Dereev and I have lots of conversation in regards to the budget and everything else and how well our staff has done. So our bridge file, we're looking at 90 million and we're looking at an additional 65 for the next 15 years. Again, that's no small challenge, long-term commitment for the MD. Again, all departments really cleaned up money from the past projects, and they found money where I shouldn't say it was hiding, but it was covered up under a project. So they brought those forward. Meanwhile, we haven't reduced any of our service levels, and that's thanks to our staff. And again, cost-effective projects were going to be completed in-house, or unless we can do it otherwise. So we're looking for contractors, and that's achieving our best values for our residents. So again, just like to thank our staff for doing a upstanding job.
Yeah,
So-
no.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other discussion on this motion? Okay, I'm seeing none. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Looking for another motion? Thank you, Councillor Klug, for making the motion that council approves the transfer of 8499920 to the cash flow reserves and 8499920 to the bridge reserve based on free cash available estimate. Any discussion on this motion, council? I'm seeing none. I'll call for the vote. Sorry, all those in favor? Sorry, Stephanie, I did that one a little quick. That's carried. Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'm looking for another motion to go in camera or a closed session.
Mr. Reeve?
Yes,
You certainly can go in closed session. It's only if council wishes to have any discussions with the auditors in,
yeah, I think we should.
okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Deputy Reeve, for making this motion. The meeting goes into closed session at 11:03 for the following reasons, ATA Section 29 and 31. Thank you. Good to go? All right, welcome back. Well, I guess on myself of council, myself, we want to thank our staff for doing an awesome job, like Deputy Reeve Fideo just said a few minutes ago, and appreciate another successful year. Thank you for all you guys do. Where are we at now? Are you free to go, or you got some more? I got it, 9.4.2? 1? 9.4.1, you're correct.
Council approved an interim 2026 to 2028 operating budget requirement of $132,910,323 and the 2026 to 2030 capital plan requirement of $25,301,000 at the November 25th, 2025 regular meeting of council, and directed administration to bring forward a final 2026 to 2028 operating budget and 2026 to 2030 capital plan prior to April 30th, 2026. Administration is now bringing forward a consolidated list of amendments for council's review, Appendix A. Upon council approval, these amendments will be incorporated in the budgets approved at the November 25th council meeting to establish the 2026 to 2028 operating budget and 2026 to 2030 capital plan. These amendments include a reduction of operating revenues and expenditures of $430,835 and the removal of 2 previously approved capital projects of $300,000. Approval of an operating budget and a capital plan provides administration with clear direction and the authority to conduct the business of and provide services to the municipality on behalf of council. Attached for council's review is Appendix A, the consolidated list of budget amendments. The 2026 operating budget with expenses of $132,479,488, interim budget expenses of $132,910, $910,323 less Appendix A decrease to operating expenses of the $430,835. The 2026 capital budget removal of BRFA Wildland Unit Number 1, originally funded by capital tax, and BRFA Command Unit, originally funded by the Equipment Replacement Program. The 2026 budget strategies will be posted on the MD's website. And the administration recommended action is that council approves the consolidated list of 2026 operating budget changes with a reduction in operating expenses of $430,835 as presented in Appendix A, attached to informing part of this meeting's minutes, and directs administration to incorporate the approved changes in the previously approved 2026 interim operating budget requirement of $132,910,323 $1,910,323 to establish the final 2026 to 2028 operating budget with a requirement of $132,479,488. And that council approves the cancellation of the previously approved capital projects of $300,000 as presented in Appendix A and directs administration to incorporate the reduction into the previous approved 2026 to 2030 capital plan with a requirement of $25,301,000 to establish the final 2026 to 2030 capital plan with a requirement of $25,001,000.
Thank you. Any questions or someone like to make a motion? All right, thank you, Councillor Palmer, for making the motion that council approves consolidating listing of 2026 operating budget changes with the reduction of operation expenses of $430,835 to presented in Appendix A attached to and forming part of the meeting minutes to direct administration incorporate the amount changes to the previous approved 2026 interim budget operations requirements of $132,910,323 to establish the final 2026 to 2028 operating budget with a requirement of $132,479,488. Any discussion, council, on this motion? I'm seeing none at this time. Everyone in favor? That's carried. Thank you. We need another motion, council. Okay, thank you, Councillor Klug, for making the motion that council approves the cancellation of previous approved capital projects for $300,000 as presented in Appendix A, that the Rex administration to update, incorporate the reduction to the previous approved 2026 to 2030 capital plan with a requirement of $25,301,000 for establish the final 2026-2030 capital plan with a requirement of $25,001,000. Any discussion on this motion, council? All right, I'm seeing none. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. On to 9.4.2. Morning. Just turn your mics on, I guess.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Proposal and background. Administration is bringing for council consideration bylaw number 1929, which would replace the existing tax installment payment plan. The plan, bylaw number 1182. The framework of this new bylaw was presented to the Committee of the Whole on February 17th, 2026. Discussion on benefits, disadvantages, and options. The goal of this new bylaw is to provide an additional payment option for those liable for paying property taxes, taxpayers, in 2026, and provide additional clarity to the payment plan where required. For the 2026 year, 16,033 properties received a property tax levy. As of February 17th, there were 1,387 properties active on the plan. Taxpayers who are currently on the plan will experience the same process as they did, in 2025. For taxpayers who are not on the payment plan, those who have established a new payment plan in 2026, administration is providing an option for council's consideration, which will allow new payment plan agreements to have a payment calculation
where the current year's levy is divided by the remaining months of the year. In the current plan, there is a requirement to prepay the payments for the months that have already passed. This change for the 2026 year would provide taxpayers who may not be able to pay the 2026 levies in full by June 30th, an additional payment option to adjust the new payment deadline. This updated bylaw also addresses the following: opportunity for non-taxpayers to create agreements with the consent of the taxpayer, clarity in the calculation process, including using an estimate where accepted by the applicant, extending the application process to June 30th, clarity for agreement cancellations due to NSF transactions. The following appendixes are attached. Appendix A, Bylaw 1929, Tax Installment Payment Plan, new. Appendix B, Bylaw 1182, Tax Installment Payment Plan, current. Reference to strategic plan. Council's consideration of changing the property tax due date to June 30th is part of the long-term tax strategy, which is part of the objective. Create a municipal financial sustainability plan. Council's consideration of revising the existing tax installment payment plan, bylaw number 1182, provides an additional option for some taxpayers as the municipality transitions to meet this objective. Reference to provincial and federal legislation, Municipal Government Act, Section 340, installments, Section 344, penalty of non-payment in current year. Cost and source of funding, there is no new cost associated with the tax installment payment plan change. Sorry. Communication strategy, upon third reading, information will be presented through our media and communications department. Administration recommended action that bylaw number 1929, being a bylaw of the Municipal District of Bonnyville, number 87, to authorize the implementation of installment tax payment, be given second reading, that bylaw 1929 be given third reading.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just looking for a motion, council. Okay, thank you. Councillor Kaluk for making the motion that bylaw number 1929 being a bylaw of the Municipal District of Bonnyville number 87 to authorize the implementation of installment tax payment to be given second reading. Any discussion on this motion? All right, I'm not seeing any, so all those in favor? That's carried, thank you. Looking for third? Caroline? Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Palmer, for making this motion that bylaw number 1929 be given third reading. Any discussion on this motion, council? All right, I'm not seeing any. All those in favor as well? That's carried. Thank you. On to 9.4.3.
That's us again.
Yes. On to the second blue
Yes.
file.
Bylaw number 1931, amending local improvement tax bylaw. Whereas bylaw number 1253 imposes a local improvement tax for existing properties subject to the connection of the hamlets of Ardmore and Fort Kent water systems. Bylaw 1845 defines the tax amounts and properties subject to the local improvement tax, and Section 402, subsection 1 of the Municipal Government Act identifies that a council must revise the bylaw where an existing property subject to the local improvement levy has been subdivided or consolidated. Discussion on benefits, disadvantages, and options. The following properties were consolidated as follows. Plan 8022761, Block 2, Lot 19. Roll number 610-431-4047 was consolidated with Plan 2521704, Block 2, Lot 19A. Roll 610-431-4048. The new local improvement levy for 2026 will be $275.35. The 2025 local improvement levy was $274.48. 2026 is the final year for the local improvement levy. The first year of the local improvement levy was 2002. Attached for council's review, Appendix A, bylaw number 1931, amending local improvement tax bylaw, and Appendix bylaw number 1253, local improvement tax bylaw. Reference to provincial and federal legislation, Municipal Government Act, Section 402. Cost and source of funding, there is no cost associated with the local improvement levy change. Communication strategy, projects subject to the local improvement, properties subject to the local improvement levy will receive notice of new levy in their 2026 property and assessment tax notice. Administration recommended action that bylaw number 1931, being a bylaw of the Municipal District of Bonnyville number 87, to amend bylaw number 1253 to replace Schedule A, being given second reading. That bylaw number 1931 be given third reading.
All right, thank you. Someone like to make a motion? Thank you, Councillor Palmer, for making the motion that bylaw number 1931 being a bylaw of the Municipal District of Bonnyville number 87 to amend bylaw number 1253 to replace Scheduled A to be given second reading. Any discussion on this motion, council? All right, I'm not seeing any. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. At this time, I'll be looking for third reading. Thank you, Councillor Kaluk, for making this motion that bylaw number 1931 be given third reading. Council, is there any discussion on this motion? I'm not seeing any. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. I think at this time we're going to take a break for lunch, and thank you. Welcome back. On to 9.4.4.
Hello,
Hi,
welcome back, thank you.
Carter. Yes.
We, administration, are here with bylaw number 1932, 2026 tax rate bylaw. Proposal, administration hereby presents the 2026 tax rate bylaw for second reading and third reading under Section 353 of the Municipal Government Act, MGA. Requires municipal councils to annually pass a bylaw to raise revenues to be used towards the payment of municipal expenditures and transfers defined in the budget and the requisitions. Council had estimated $124,624,556 to be generated from municipal taxes to fund expenditures for the 2026 tax year. Discussion on benefits, disadvantages, and options. Administration presents bylaw number 1932, 2026 tax rate bylaw, Appendix A, with the following tax rates. These rates result in a $500,000 assessed residential property receiving a 4.17% municipal tax increase, equaling $57.12. In 2025, a $500,000 assessed residential property received a 3.4 municipal tax increase, equaling $46.89. The tax rates, with exception of the farm rate, are the same rates as the 2025 year. Farmland has increased from 5.0 to 8.0. Residential, 2.85600. Farmland, 8.00000. Non-residential vacant, 14.28000. Non-residential vacant, this is due to the order in council, is 9.99600. Non-residential small business, 11.42400. Non-residential other, 14.28000. Non-residential other, again due to the order in council, 9.99600. Machinery and equipment, 14.28000. And machinery and equipment, order in council, 9.99600. These tax rates meet the following requirements. Order in council 121 from 2021, Ward 6 North non-residential tax rate at 70% of the MD non-residential tax rate. MGA 358.1, maximum tax ratio, non-residential tax rate cannot be greater than 5 times the residential tax rate. For second reading of the bylaw, the following items have been updated. The 2026 Greater North requisition and tax rate, the 2026 designated industrial property requisition and tax rate, budget revenue from other sources, first reading defined as $14,922,838. Budget balance to be raised by general municipal taxation from first reading defined as $124,587,763. If 2026 final budget reflects totals different than totals defined in this bylaw, additional information amendments to this bylaw may be required prior to the second or third reading as presented by Finance. The 2025 assessment roll for the 2026 tax levy reflects assessment growth in linear and machinery and equipment and the removal of Schedule D, depreciation of an oil field plant. This growth is estimated to be $4.9 million and $2.98 million municipal tax dollars respectively to the 2026 budget. Appendix A is draft for the bylaw 1932 2026 tax rate bylaw. And Appendix B is additional information. Reference to provincial and federal legislation, Municipal Government Act, Section 353, 358.1, and Order in Council 121, 2021. Communication strategy, property owners can expect to receive their 2026 assessment and a tax notice in May, and administration will provide notice of the 2026 assessment and tax notice mailings in the local newspapers, on the municipal website, and on social media. Administration recommends action that the bylaw number 1932, being a bylaw of the municipal district of Bonnyville, number 87, to authorize the rates of taxation to be levied against assessed properties within the municipality for the 2026 taxation year, be given second reading, that bylaw number 1932 be given third reading.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Someone like to make a motion? Thank you. Councillor Kaluk for making the motion that bylaw number 1932 being a bylaw of the municipal district of Bonnyville, number 87, to authorize the rates of taxation to be levied against assessed properties with the municipality for the 2026 taxation year to be given second reading as amended. Any discussion, council, on this? Okay, I'm seeing none. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Looking for a third reading? Okay. Thank you, Councillor Amalia, for making the motion that bylaw number 1932 be given third reading. Any discussion? Looks like Edward's pretty comfortable there. Seeing none, all those in favor? That's carried. Thanks, gentlemen. Have a great rest of your conference there. That was carried. All right.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
Thank
Yeah.
you, folks.
Thanks. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye. I guess we're on to correspondence and information.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to take the opportunity to identify we have 12 items. The first item I'd like to review, and it's up on the screen now, is 10.1. As we see a close in on it, it is age-friendly Cold Lake fishing event. The MD of Bonnyville sponsored this great event, and it's exciting to show that we care about our community, and they sent us a thank you card. Next item I'd like to cover, and I'll call up the Director of Community Services. It takes all sort of creativity, a group, and a community to recognize we have a great ski hill. It puts on the slush cup or racing events. But I want to say out to the team that's running the hill now, under the direction of Ian, we're now being innovative, creative, and adding new things that you'd only see in the mountains. Ian?
Yeah. Good afternoon, Reeve and Council. So this year for our Rail Jam competition, which is our freestyle competition, which was held on March 14th, out of Loon Lake, the Connors family, Racing and Tours, the young sons of Musher, they were looking for a place to give the dogs a bit of a stretch their legs and get them kind of ready for more competition type things. So on the first date, on that March 14th, we had 198 people go for a dog sled ride at the hill. So kind of the thought behind this was similar to like the Canmore type of experience, but instead of $300 a person, trying to make it reasonable for families and give people experiences. If you were a season ticket holder or bought a lift pass that day, it was added in with that. So kind of as we do our numbers, we're seeing that adding these kind of features really helps encourage people that aren't skiers to come out to the hill as well. And then we did it for Slush Cup, our last day of the year, and we had 167 riders that day.
Thank you. And I want to make this clear to this great community we live in and this council that's given us freedom to be creative. Now that we're stepping onto the world stage, we're doing this stuff that would take you hours and hours to drive to the mountain. We're having it in our hometown, our home community, in this great environment. That's all for administration and correspondence.
Thanks. I just got a question. So that's one team, or there's multiple teams there at 160 some? That's quite a lot for
Yeah, so there was multiple people potentially on a ride, but then they did take breaks in between to feed the dogs, get them fueled back up, and then let them go again.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's a lot of rides. Yeah, well, thank you for doing that. Appreciate that.
There is no further correspondence from administration.
All right, anybody want to add to this, or someone like to make a motion? All right, thank you, Councillor Palmer, for the motion that council accepts the following correspondence as information. The ones before us, I believe there's, how many? 12? Any discussion on this, council? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's carried, thank you. On to your reports, I believe. Whoever would like to start, Caroline?
I only have two committees as I was away for 2 weeks. We had the policing committee yesterday, and I always find that those meetings to be very interesting. You find out what's happening in our safety world. Our policing efforts are something I'm always excited to see. We're down in our crime right now, and hopefully with the weather change, that doesn't change. But it was a good meeting, good dialogue. As well as last night, I went to the Bonnyville Ag Society for the first time, so that was an introduction to a committee that is preparing for June 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th rodeo, and they need hip waders to get into their areas. So it is very, very wet. So they're hoping and kind of panicking that things may not be dried out by then, but we'll see what tomorrow brings. Other than that, that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Who'd like to be next? Okay.
Oh, I forgot the gala.
Oh, we got Councillor Amalia. You ready?
No, sure.
Okay.
I was looking how far back since we last had our meeting, so it's a couple of weeks, so.
Yes.
Or 3. So, yeah, following that one, I guess there was in between a couple other things I didn't expect, but there was the Northern Lights Public School had their elected official meet and greet here at their offices in Bonnyville. And so it was all the municipalities and school boards in the general area. And so that was just a good networking time and visiting and hearing some of what they have to say and different ways that we can, where our work on each side affects each other. Following that, there was a brief one, Lakeland Forage Association, so not Lara itself, but the Lakeland Forage Association had their AGM in St. Paul the next night, and it was a very quick, brief, simple one. Forage Association and primarily their grazing lease up north that they have. It's a different one, not the Wolf Lake one. Yeah, and then through family and weather, I wasn't able to make it out to some of these things that were mentioned, the Slush Cup and the hockey game, some of those things. One thing I would mention too, though, is that that online webinar or town hall, I guess you'd call it, about the, it was more than just strychnine, but basically it was just about the strychnine. That's what it came down to. And yeah, a chance for them to kind of explain what was going on and who and what and why the line was drawn that excluded MD of Bonnyville. And so I thank Matt for advocating on that and since that and working on the whole issue about what can we do to be included on that, because I know my farmyard has a lot of gophers around that could really use it. Yeah, other than that, the Eastern Alberta Trade Corridor Forum in Vegreville was really good. I apologize I had to leave earlier. I had another conference to attend on Friday, Saturday. But the day that I did make it, and actually the evening before, the conversations and everything just a lot of really great ideas, and good to see the collaboration of bringing everybody together in that big, long trade corridor. And so thanks for the chance to go and be part of that. And yeah, last night, again, had a Glendon Library Committee meeting, board meeting, and relatively short and simple. I had to step out early, so I didn't catch all of it. But yeah, it was just a basic meeting of the library board and what they're going on with there. And yeah, I think that's about it, other than the usual phone calls that we're starting to get about roads and water again.
Thank you. Councillor Klug?
Not too much going on in the last couple of weeks, but was with FCSS yesterday. It was a little bit late getting there. They were going over the financial reports. Everything looks really good, they're saying. They are coming up with, how did I rate this here? A new Facebook page, so they're going to be posting some stuff, getting more involved. And they're also looking at, how would you say, a different policy for job safety for people to have more than one person on shift at a time with some stuff. There's some issues, I guess, so they're dealing with that. That's about it with them. Also was at Ardmore Hall. They had a general meeting. They got some events coming up. They just want to get everybody knowing that April 18th they have a dart tournament. May 10th, Mother's Day breakfast and car show. Duck race will be June 7th. Tickets aren't out yet. They're hoping to get that out as soon as possible. And June 26th and 27th, it'll be their tractor pulls. So they'll be all working on that and hoping everybody can attend. That's all I have.
Thank you. Deputy Reeve?
Yeah. Good afternoon, thanks. Local to global event in Bakerville was great. It gives you the overall idea of what the Eastern, I guess, trading group is trying to accomplish. Then this route they're trying to do is the trade route is for anywhere from Mexico all the way to up here. And we had a gentleman by the name of Lauren, I forget his last name, but he came up from Texas to a speech on that, and it was just very informative and hopefully get some traction in regards to this. We went to the Blizzard Blast and the old Slush Cup. So Councillor Kuluk was trying to convince me to go into the Slush Cup event, but yeah, no go on my part. So a lot of fun to watch. The costumes weren't as crazy this year as they were in the past, but it's quite the event. Again, Northern Lights School Board, elected officials, it was great to see some of the people behind the scenes with Northern Lights. Brought up the busing end of it. They say it's not going to make a difference in cost, but it's tough to see that. Today I had three buses coming into my neighborhood, picking up 3 different kids. So, and then Mayor Brasso and I had a meeting with the transportation minister in Edmonton, and we're just setting up some groundwork and to what our group, NAGO, is going to be meeting. They're going to be meeting with them on the end of April. So it'll be Mayor Alberts from Lloydminster, Mayor Tim McPhee, Bob Mattice, Elisa Brasso. We'll be meeting with transportation and getting some exact things from them. Some, shouldn't say demands, but we really wanted to know what they're doing. So they're, according to them right now, they've done 60% of the design work. They call it engineering, but I disagree with them on their definition of engineering. It's engineers that write things on paper, which don't work as good for me. So engineering to construction is what we're looking for. So it was a tough budget, and unfortunately, us within and also many other things were cut. Not acceptable, but we'll have to deal with it. We'll have to make some changes for next year for sure. Had a chance to, then we went to Thermal Cup, Councillor Cook and myself. So basically Thermal Cup goes, there's 8 different oil companies to get together and they play hockey till the winter comes out. So with Thermal Cup, it was done there for 2 days on 2 different rinks. And a lot of our staff were volunteers there as well. And their goal was to raise $100,000 and they broke that. The total, what they raised was $103,065. And most of that stays here in the northeast region. So gets divided between, I think, Lloyd, St. Paul, ourselves, and I think even Fort Mac gets part of the proceeds. And yeah, so now I also had a talk with Portage College about possible trade grant. And yeah, it's had some good conversation that hoping to bring up here in the next little while so I can see how we can support them in promoting trades. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, all of council, for that. I guess I had policing as well with Caroline, and she filled in us about that. It's probably the longest policing meeting I ever had, but it was very informative, and I think we learned a lot from that meeting. And also we did the health gala, all of us here in Bonneville. That was a really nice event. It was really well put on, and I was gone like Caroline. I just want to thank, I went to a mission to an orphanage, and people should know that people from the MD staff has been supporting me with different things over the years. So I'm very appreciative to the staff that has given to that cause that I go to. And this year I purchased a bunch of makeup for kind of high-end makeup for younger ladies there. So they were pretty excited they don't get a treat like that. So the money that was given from the staff here, I put it into that to have a little party for the girls down there. So they were pretty giddy to get that kind of stuff. They never get that kind of treatment ever. So yeah, thank you to the staff for providing some of that money to go forward to that. So I had a very rewarding time down there. But not a lot to report because I wasn't here. So Caroline, I think you have something else to mention. So go ahead. Sorry I cut you off.
Sorry, that was my fault. I also wanted to recognize the 2 staff that did partake in the FCSS board meeting, as well as the Chamber of Commerce strategic planning. So thank you, Scott. If there's something that you need to provide to everyone in reporting that would be great, as well as Ian for FCSS. I asked both of them who took time out of their schedules to attend these meetings so that we always had a continued MD presence. So first of all, thank you. And if you have anything to report, that's great.
Mr. Klug, you have something as well?
No, I think I got it all now.
Oh, I just,
At the Ben, he covered it. Thermal Cup, no, it was the amount I had written down, 103. But he's right to the point.
right to the point. I guess on behalf of council, myself, I just want to, again, thank staff. Make sure you guys get it out there that we're very thankful for all the staff that is here. You guys make us look better, maybe better than I should look, but I won't speak for council on behalf of that. But thank you for all you guys do. I appreciate it very much. Robin, you're not going to do this or later? Okay. Side joke, sorry. I guess we needed a motion to go into closed session. Thank you, Councillor Kaluk. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you.